The four reflections that turn the mind from samsara, beginning with the difficult of finding the freedom and advantages. And this is like a common process of the mind, and also it's like very much for the us beginner. And when we study this principle for reflections, and after we need time to time to remember, like sometimes occur the distracted mind doing some meaningless and especially some negative things doing, and in that moment we should to think about these four reflections, four reminders maybe, and four thoughts changing from samsara, or turn from samsara, our mind. That is very, very important. It can help. When we are like to realize that the human existence, it can support for self-confidence, and also like a kind of the great realization of based our richness, based our facilities, based like kind of ability. And in the Buddha's teaching says, when you find great, strong, comfortable boat, ship, or you should cross the oceans. And if you want to cross the ocean without analyze your like transportation or the vehicle or any kind of craft, or how do you say, aircraft or boat is like crab. How do you say? Craft. Okay. And when you are board into your craft, and if this craft of the boat, it's not very good, old, leaking, and fragile, and then in the middle of the ocean, die, suffering. And therefore it says it's like a kind of, now is you got the fantastical boat. It's a human boat, human body boat. Then you should cross ocean of the samsara. And like this, really sometimes our body is the great vehicle, great kind of the chariots, or great like kind of the transporter. And when we have had or we got this vehicle, and we should to use properly, like a kind of someone's bought a very, very expensive car, I have these experiences. Maybe it's like almost that he used his life. Maybe when this person's use is a very, very rare, and also he has such a kind of strangeness. Most times he put in the garage, and then it's like until he die, almost that he can't use it. And then it's the death process start, and then say, oh, I didn't use my car, I didn't go to that. And then maybe regret why I bought this car. Very comfortable, very expensive, leisure, but I put in the garage all the times. And then is the car's useless. Car is very old now, maybe doesn't work, but maybe also this person is going to die. And then thinking next times, no choice. Like then great regret, why I didn't use, oh stupid. Then maybe someone's coming, now I will take your car, I will use, don't worry. Then it's very much suffering. Same is these situations. Maybe we obtained human existence with too much taking care. Of course, it needs taking care, but we use all the times the wrong way, for more negative way. And also it's like a kind of not much use for the positive things. And then certainly this body is become useless. It's like kind of collapsed, cannot use anymore. At that moment we resume to check, I didn't use it. Very much regret. But not like this. When we are recognize the human existence, each moment, I am human. I need to do something. Even at least to make happy. One is like student, I don't need to say the names. Person says, oh, difficult to practice Dharma, everything to study, practice, and like this. But for me it's very difficult. Maybe I want to enter where I might die, to make happy, joy. And beside that, as much as I can, avoid the negative things, and as much as I can the positive. But that I will take. What do you think? I said, fantastic. Really? If you make happy yourself until you die, according to your human existence, that is also virtue. And you, beside that, you avoid as much as negative, adopt as much as you positive. That as much, not like kind of the legal or like obeys or something, not as much each moment, but you are making happy. Today I am human, alive, wonderful. You tell your families, which kind of nice to do today? Party, barbecue, and swimming, sauna, and joke, and something. And good persons to look the families, they are happy. Good, I did something. And every day, like, okay, it's thinking the impermanent, thinking the human existence, to supporting to your family, yourself. Wonderful. And then it's even the not family. If yourself, I am. Then sometimes it's a little bit, someone said nice word, and a little bit you are pain, a little bit maybe also you lost to some family. And it's like there's many need to talk. And then I have these problems. I'm going to die, cry day and night. What it is? Human existence, understand the causalities, impermanent. Of course, it's not all the times to be same. Not at all. Good change bad, bad change good. And sometimes low is become high, high become low. This is the relative reality. Understood the impermanent. You don't much care is what is going on, balance. And like this, then is impermanent, wonderful things. When we are studying more impermanent, it can lead us, bring into the liberation path. In the middle, you think more impermanent, your this path or the practice things is become more precise, successful. And the end, you thinking about impermanent, you can complete your task. And like this, some good persons all the time say, I started this my job. Then before you study, never like kind of accept it. Reflect, is a positive, negative, I will do or not. You decided to do, then never ever stop in the middle. Finish it. Maybe before I die, maybe I want to complete this. If something in the before I die, it's not very good. Therefore, hurry up, someone's doing. Exactly like this. When you study things, I need to study. Today is, I have life. I'm human, I'm alive. Maybe who knows tomorrow. And impermanent. To study, reflect, and meditate, and like this. Then it's like your path is automatically increased. And you more understand the result of the negative, we call the defects of the samsara. And you analyze in our contain the world, and then it's like there's not much interest. Maybe we go say, I'm interested in hell. We go to there, look, oh, nothing. Maybe say, let's forget it. Let's go to the Hunger Ghost Dharmas. Maybe interest. We go to the, almost die. Forget it. Of course, I mean, forget the compassion perspective, not the but. You don't want to go to animal. And animal elements, exactly. Humans, most of course is, I want to reborn again, human. But human also, someone's fed up human lives because there's such occurring suffering. God realm go to, there's not much interest. Then the result, it's what is result. Result is the causalities. And samsara and nirvana is produced by the cause. Then we understood the cause of the samsara. We have very much interest to abandon. Then you need to think in causalities. You fully crucial point of the causality realize it. Then you don't need specifically to avoid the negative or adopt the positive. Body, verb, mind automatically they do. Then it's like, therefore, 4 reminders, 4 reflections. Fantastic. Absolute. Then your mind is be ready to be free from the samsara. Very much enthusiastic to achieve the enlightened or the nirvana. And then we need to start to practice actually meditation or the practice. He said, the secondarily the undertaking real path, the practice starting from the taking of refuge, which is the foundation of all path. The foundation of the all path. What does it mean? If you take the path of mundane path, also you need this taking refuge. And also is when you are taking like a super modern path, Shavaka, Pachika Buddhas, also first its foundation is refuge, taking refuge, the taking of refuge. And that is the foundation of the old path. Of course, Bodhisattvas, Mantrayanas, any kind of path of the liberations of the Buddha, it's a beginning, the foundation is, we say, as the taking of refuge. And therefore it is said for the path. There is talking about the taking refuge. Taking refuge. What do you mean taking refuge? Hyapsandrovas in Tibet. Hyapsandrovas. The taking of refuge. Why you say it's like kind of off? I'm taking in refuge. Okay, I'm taking in refuge or taking of refuge. Okay, maybe yeah. Taking and refuge. The source of the refuge, where you go to refuge. Gong la hyapsen rogyans in Tibet. Who you go to take refuge. Of course, we know the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And Buddha has 8 qualities. Dharma has 8 qualities. Sangha has 8 qualities. Each one has 8 qualities. And these qualities you should to study. Very embarrassing things. You say, I took Buddhist path 20 years. And then you're sure that you know the source of the refuges. Camembert, no. Then what do you mean taking of refuge? What do you mean? Something it says refugees, and you taking refugee in where? In Europe, or in America, or where? Something? No, not like this. You taking refuge of refuge. Then what? You didn't study. Maybe there's 3 things it's need the source of refuge. Oh yes, you 3 rare sublimes, 3 rare sublimes, and the refuge source, the source of refuge is 3 sublime. 3 sublime what? 3 what? One person says, yeah, Ekanzat, Rahula, Dorjelepa. These 3 quotes very important. And that other one is really Dharma practitioners become very sad. If you do not know about the Kunchusams, sublime, 3 rare sublimes, 3 Kunchusams. Kun is the rare, Chok is the sublime, 3 rare sublime. The Kunchosam da Luhi Cho Rinpoche Kunchosams in Tibet is everybody is like swear the Kuncho Sanse say. They all the time say Kuncho Sanse. What are they? They said I don't know. Maybe they can to count Nyua Chuariman. Then it's very embarrassing things is coming. Maybe some really serious practitioners, maybe in our Westerns are 3 realms, Camembert and nice Ballon Rouge, and maybe no, that's joke. Okay. Someone's really good practitioners, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Yeah, this is very easy. I'm taking refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. But you don't know about the qualities. Sunjik yonten sam chap, chuju yonten sam chap, gendon yonten sam chaps in Tibet. Chuju yonten sam chap, tombo sunji yonten sam chaps. The qualities of the Buddha is incredible. Chuji yonten sam chaps. The qualities of the Dharma is incredible. Genda Yonten Sama chaps, the qualities of the sanghas is incredible. Yeah, which kind of qualities? Then we need to 8 qualities. Sonji la Yonten number jet, Chulas Yonten jet, Gendan la Yonten jet, Yonten jet then Sonji control. Yonten jet then Chu control, Yonten jet then Gendon control numbers. Of course, those good practitioners, they studied Uttaratantra. Uttaratantra itself has 9 Vajra points, and one Vajra point is explained about these 3 realm sublimes. Then they're talking about the 3 sublime realm. 3 sublime realm. And that is like how many Buddha has qualities. Self qualities 3, others benefit 3 qualities. Then is counted the group of the 3 become the 7, 8. And also is the Dharma like this, Sangha is like this. This one is you should to study this Sonji Yonten, Chuju Yonten, Gendan Chu Yonten, the quality of the Buddha, quality of the Dharma, quality of the Sangha. You should to study. Then when we study that qualities, quality is the incredible qualities studied. Then interest, that is the Buddhist perspective. Really, if I'm taking refuge in Buddha, which kind? This is the inevitable, and also is like the correct source of refuge. Yes, this is like in the Buddhist perspective, in the relative source of refuge. These are 3 realm sublimes. Of course, ultimately is the source of refuge is your Buddha nature. That is, of course, your Buddha nature is the representative of the 3 sublimes. That is correct. And therefore, here is all the paths foundation of all the path, or all the paths foundation is the taking of refuge. And then it's like there's such a kind of the qualities, the benefit when you take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sanghas, and like a kind of the that is the beginner's path, foundation of the path. And also is when you take refuge Buddha, Dharma, Sanghas. And also it's prevented your old activities. And also it can to support to your practice, meditation, journey into the liberations. During the journey, maybe in the path, there's such a kind of dangerous path. And in this perspective, it's kind of help. Very, very good condition. We'll take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Buddha, Dharma, Sanghas are the practicing the compassions. Buddha is fully realized the compassions. And Dharma is the fully subject matter is the compassions. Sangha is a practitioner of the compassions. Compassions, if compassion exists in the food, you should eat immediately. If compassion exists in a cloth, you should immediately wear that. It's a really healthy food cloth, organic. If compassion is existing in the stone, you should to collect, holding, do not. If like kind of the compassion on the earth exists, dig to take out. If compassion in your body, never lost. But compassion is nothing else. Compassion is times in your heart. And you just no need to kind of run it to collect something. Compassion easily to generate. Because the mind is the source of the everything. Source of compassion is the mind. 37 practice of the Bodhisattvas, saying that all the Buddhas, Shavaka, Pachika Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Shavaka, Pachika Buddha, Bodhisattvas, where is the come from? They are come from Buddha. Wow. Then where is come from Buddha? Buddha is come from compassion. Where is come from the compassion? It's come from mind. Where is come from mind? It's come from mind is mind. That's the end. That mind is, we say, the self-arousing, self-radiant, self-liberation. That is the organic, is the natural, therefore. But from that, everything is like kind of the manifestations can occur. And therefore, and of course, it's a reality is the three jewels is come from the, of course, Buddha nature. But Buddha nature is the source, really ultimate source is the, then is the Buddha nature. And also it's like when you are talking about refugees, maybe, of course, Hiam Sunji Nyakchi Yen, Hiam Sunji Nyakchi Yens. Gen and the Sangha, Dharma, is ultimate, the source of refuge is the Buddhas. And the Dharma and Sangha is just kind of condition. It finally is not kind of the, why? And then Buddha is the ultimate refuge source. That maybe is in the relatively is externally the Buddha. Some is our West, or some in the peoples. Everywhere is it. Look, you look very carefully. Buddha is appear in India. Dharma is like Buddha he taught in India. And of course then is adopt different countries. Buddha Dharma and the message of the Buddha. When they study the message of the Buddha, they respect Buddha very much. Wonderful. I didn't meet the Buddha, but I can study Buddha's teachings. The oldest, most activity of the Buddhas is like carrying by the Dharmas. And then is to tap in adopt the different countries. Then they say talking about Buddha's first time they have very much the Buddha in the India, this, that. Then slowly, dualistic things is coming. He says, I went to India, peoples. And then it's, Buddha is, but it's, if I'm thinking India guy, then I have a little bit lose my faith. And better to, our own people. It's you look in China's Buddhas, they look very fat. One looks like Chinese guy. And you go to in Tibet, is very luckily we have the artists, ancient masters. They never changed looks like Tibetans. When you look at the Tankas, it's very much India style. It's correct. Because this Buddha really in the relative our Buddha or the present our Buddha has appeared in India. But you go to Thailand, it's the Buddha looks like Thai guy. And also cloth is the Thais. And then it's ancient. And in our West, someone says difficult to meditate on the India guy. For example, one British person says, if this Buddha is the British or English guy, I want to feel very easily to meditate on. But India, French, the lady says like this, I don't know India. In one French, like looks like Jacques Chirac, the president. What his name? Jacques Chirac. Bonjour, comment va? And then all the French people say, "Oh yeah, that's nice, but big mouth and head. Bonjour, comment ça va? Vous mangez petit déjeuner?" And then it's like this, It's Germany and France, maybe it's in the future. Also now, as American says, American Buddhism says, now they are like kind of changing, And then slowly also Buddha's hair is yellow, nose. That is the dualistic perspective. Okay, doesn't matter. It's Buddha. Then it's like also why I remind it to you. In the relatively, we say I'm taking refuge. That's India guy, Siddhartha. But it's the reality means it's like a Buddha means it's a common name, like a kind of the like abstract names. Buddha is the past Buddha, future Buddha, present Buddha. Buddha is maybe it's like a Chinese Buddha, Tibetan Buddha, India's Buddha, European Buddha, American. Doesn't matter. You say I'm taking refuge, Buddhas, whoever be enlightenment, that is the Buddha, in the temporary Buddha. Okay, why not? That doesn't matter. If it's like a kind of Buddhas all the time be in India. No, Buddha said it's all the sentient beings mind stream. There's a Buddha nature. When you have Buddha nature, whoever you can to become the Buddha. All the Buddhas all the time to be in Tibet. This is a liar. All the Buddhas be Chinese. Not. All the Buddhas West. It's just wherever any sentient beings or the particular human beings become enlightenment. That is our Buddhas. And the relatively. Because rely on the relative Buddha, take refuge, we need to realize the ultimate Buddha of our own, the Buddha nature. Therefore, Buddha, Dharma. Dharma, I think, is like only rely on the like a kind of India, but also you have problems, a lot of them. When you go to India, Buddha, he's taught 84,000 teachings, inconceivable teacher. Almost in our human world, there's this sort of the teachers is almost difficult. Many spiritualities teachers have one book, two, and that is also like collective things. Maybe it's like kind of very difficult. The Buddha himself, he has like 40 years taught 84,000. When we look at the Buddha's teachings, everything's in there. And then it's like, of course, then the studies course is in India, Nalanda University and the Bhutamahili universities. And this true in the universities to study it, how they studied, fantastic way. And particularly there's some is like a kind of a great follower of the Laknangachuna, Shantarakshita, Binmasambhava, and Asangas, like those. And another there is in the Bhutamahili to Lokons, the Bhutamahili University, there's such kind of the student disciples. And then is normally we need to follow up that. But then is we adopt into different countries and then they are changed. Basically cannot to change. We are luckily, for example, in Tibetan Buddhist perspective, great master Guru Rinpoche, Binmasambhava, Shantarakshita, Bamala Mata, they come from Nalanda University. They established this tradition in Tibet and like kind of definitive, unchangeable, they established it. Then after, okay, use some commentaries to make more easy, a little bit coding the language, slangs to make for easy. Them basically, so you cannot to change at all. It's whatever Buddha repeat to say, this one repeat. How it is to start these things. And then it's like coding the three Pitakas and three subject matter doctrine. And of course, it is the subject matter of the Sutta perspective, subject matter of the Mantrayana's perspective, the Ndon Sanyat Tepa or Dorje Tepa. Both perspective, there is subject matter. But there is whatever Buddha said. We have 108 volumes. This is like a Kanjuru means it's like the Buddha's really direct teachings. This inside, sometimes in Tibet there is some lamas very bizarre things they want to change, this is maybe this is not relevant. We know this change now is like kind of to some distance, and some kings like cannot change. They stamped. Then we are very lucky. Something commentaries around and go back to look. Is a commentaries quoting the Buddha's teaching or not? If doesn't correspond this, say Baba, this commentary is not good. And like this, but it's sometimes now modern slowly we need to taking care of them. Become is like change very, very difficult. For example, I want to say like to study the Jesus Christ Bodhisattva's like book, this Bible, but it's like kind of the influence of the politicals. They changed a lot. Then it's very difficult to really follow up like this. Maybe in the futures, in our Westerns, we are Westerns, democratic, liberties, and it's like this kind of difficult to study meditations, really follow up the Nalanda University, but actually we need to coding in our Westerns. It's a little bit incorrect. You need to take care of your generations. And then it's a Buddha's teaching, whatever say. Simply to study these three Tripitakas and three like the Pitakas, and it's like to more focus on the training higher realization of the discipline, summon the wisdoms to way of the Nalanda University, how to establish your view, how it is really Dharma means you study, and then is Dharma's Dharma. That is there's the 8 qualities that our source of the really Dharma really Dharma. Sometimes Dharma is we call the Hyaro Sotok. Thank you. Hyaro Sotok means like someone is writing huge book for the teeth of Reuven. Okay, Reuven. And also sometimes they wrote book like explanation of the barren woman's beauties. Barren women never, ever have child, nothing. But this is the barren woman's doctor. How it is the beauty, blah, 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 blah. Right? Maybe 10 books. You can do right. But it's nonsense, just to distract you. Okay. We call the noble, say it's just a kind of nobles or knowledgeables. And you can do study language nice, and kind of the history, like kind of the imagination. You can make nice film, like kind of nice, like this kind of. And also it's like this sort of writers you can. We say it's the flower of the sky. And this sort of like it's not really Dharma, more kind of the modern, more kind of okay for the maybe benefit for the language. Otherwise, okay, someone is a very difficult life. They don't do nothing, and they need to something read. It's like kind of the do virtue, don't do the non-virtue. Then they hesitated. and serious some histories they don't much interest. Then this kind of fantasy, it is like imagination. I'm writing now like kind of like a fantasy of the cartoon. First chapter is called the how do you say, butterfly fly around in the big city of the Tokyo, and follow up that there's another insect called the sharon, and the mosquito is mbachangchima. And this so fantastic history. And secondary is the fantastic kind of imagination story. There's a very famous Tibetan master journey to airport. It's from the big city Toyo to the Narita airport. So fantastic, funny. There's another I have chattered, but slowly. This sort of you can to read, okay, laughing, some poetic so that is ha 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 ha. You difficult to stop. But finally you're just tired. Oh, so funny. This is, it's a guilty pleasure. Then finally you are like exhausted, but what is conclusion? Nothing can do. What you just fun. Exactly. When I can't fly, from some very like almost 10, 11 hours, and then of course I book nice Dharma book, read, but reading, if really I read negatives, one page reading, asleep. Aeroplanes, now it's like announcement, we are landing, to please sit bell, so they wake up, until they just dream. And then sometimes it's just pain and the concern. Sometimes thinking like this, past, future. And then sometimes it's like I look in this sort of funny, humors. Then I myself laughing. Someone neither the like passenger, they sometimes think I'm a crazy, but laughing, it's like 10, 11 hours, just very short. I'm arrived. And then you resume 10 hours watch like this, then the conclusions really get a pleasure, nothing. If I'm reading one sentence to memorize, like maybe it's like one verse 10 hours I can to memorize, this is sure, but nothing like this sort of like normally but it's how do you say, it's like nonsense. These things is a little bit kind of getty pleasure of the reading things. But it's of course the Dharma is not like this. Really, it's like a direct comes from Buddha. That is our source of refuge. Then Sangha, as we say, is like I'm taking refuge in Sangha. That means in the sometimes I'm taking refuge in Sangha, which is the Mahayana Sangha. Why you say the Mahayana Sangha? Mahayana Sangha is seriously practice compassion. Therefore, we say, for example, why you don't say the Sangha of the Shavaka, Pachika Buddhas? Of course, you can to practice, but they more concern is self. And it's like they all the time meditate. Maybe you need help, you need something. It's a make joke, okay? But it's a really, really, really pure source. The of the Sangha, it is the Mahayana. What does it mean? That means it's a practitioner of the compassion. Anyway, it's like, however, whoever to practice compassion, that is our best passenger, best friends. Really, 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 some great practitioner of the compassion, wherever, like a gold, collect quickly. Searching, very important, compassionate. And in theirs we have idioms. Compassion, kindness, friend is a gold, collect wherever. Poisoned, aggressive, unpleasant friend is like poison, to as much as to get rid, never close. It's sometimes it's a truth. Someone is very much selfish, very, very much aggressive, very much unkind, And also it's very much all the time is giving us like disturbing emotions, talking about the good, bad, and also it's like talking about like kind of the make creation of the disattachment, talking about jealousies, talking about the rivalries, and this kind of sort of the friends is better to avoid, until we become the like mind is workable. Of course, when our mind workable, and then it's we can to say, of course, there cannot be. We need help to them. Until there, our mind is very weak and very fragile, and some negative friends influence, then headache, body's pain, and it's like this. Really, really, is when we say is the even the negative persons to touch you, is unpleasant things happen. And if you really do compassionate things, persons, even you touch, even you talk, any kind of perspective, you close is receive the benefit. You receive benefit physically, receive the benefit verbally, benefit mentally. And then you more close, all the time receive the benefit. Therefore, we're talking about the compassion. Compassion. Even they say it's like in Tibet, there's one Lama. He called the one in the disciples, called that one specific guy. Can you come and a little touch my back? Why? Why I can't? No, I can't or not can't. You can do or not can do. You have such a compassion that is enough. Really, it's a compassionate. It's like everything is become the medicine. In Tibet, there's one doctor. He's a great practitioner. He's helping hundred people. He's doctor. But some patients are coming. He says, "What is it?" His medicines is here. There's of course sometimes the name there, everything. He's just the patient say, "I'm sick." This. He go to hand like this. Whatever he got it, he gift. It's a very benefit. He go to there to fix it. Each one is look at the medicine's name, then check this sickness, then you correspond to give. It's not effective. But it's like through your compassion, kindness, automatically, it's almost everything is fantastic. Therefore, compassion notice, do everything is a benefit. My God. Even you are like kind of the bitter is a big kind of the purification. And the compassion others. Therefore, for example, we are like spiritual friends. Or my root teachers beated me. One of my root teachers shouted at me. Root teachers very aggressive. We all the time obey. Why we obey? Because it's maybe compassion's benefit to receive. If this teacher has no compassion, we don't need to obey. Say bye-bye, au revoir. It's the truth. It's like, for example, we are going to the lamas. Can you put your hand on my head? Why? Because of the compassion. And some in the practitioner Sangha says, go to close and to touch like this. Can you give me forward, hug like that? For example, in India, look, there is one Amalak. Have you heard? Very, very famous lady. She all the time is hug. And someone's really too sick, very strong. She hug and then it's disappeared sometimes. Because maybe that is her compassion. And it's like someone's to touch. Then because of the compassion, this is a power, is a compassion. And therefore in the Sangha, is my source of the Sangha is the compassion practitioner. That is that, based like you're the taking of refuge, which is the foundation of all the path that is talking about the three realms sublime. Lam tamche chimigdo shapsun rovani zong days from that jungle, from the taking of refuge. Then we have the inner preliminary practice until you finish it, the Guru Yoga, like a kind of the Laminanjur Guru Yoga. Then there is the 5, taking refuge after bodhicitta, Vajrasattva, mental la, and the precipitation, and then is the last one is the Guru Yoga, Laminanjur. And this is 6 chapters. It's really how to practice. And like a kind of the first 6 chapter, or we have almost like 5, but okay, we can 6 chapter. This is like kind of the example. If you're making food, you collect the ingredients things, what you're going to make food, everything you collect in the kitchen. Okay, now I'm going to. Then it's you are everything, chopping board, vegetable, knife, everything is there, content, everything. Then actually you are start the cutting things. Then you are doing. And then it's like completely finished. Then it's you can do it. Wow, so delicious. You finish it, the maybe is the Guru Yoga, and finish it 100,000 of like this. Finish it, then it's something you test in your mind, mouth, not the mouth of this flesh, mouth of the mind. Just test is something. This test is the unique test of the phenomena, the single test, and the test of the reality of the phenomena, the fantastic test. Then you're like kind of the worker preparing food during the 6, like kind of the stages. Then finally you can to eating this great result like this. And then right up until you perfectly completed the main practice. Complete main practice, that means, as I said, from the taking of the refugees, then is the complete, like after the bodhicitta, and then is like there is the Vajrasattva, more like kind of the creations, dissolutions path. There is the, but more Vajrasattvas, like also this is based purification mind. And then is mandalas, accumulation of greatest accumulations, according the 3 kayas mandalas. And then it's like, of course, the prostrations. Prostration is absolutely connected to the 7 branches of the offerings. And this is like the great accumulator, how do you say, accumulations tool. 7 like branches of the offerings. What are they? Do you know? Okay. Count. Prostration, offering, confession, rejoicing, the request to turn dharma, do not to die, to remain until the empty of the samsara. Then is dedication. That is what I'm using. For example, you can to say, okay, no. You can say, ho chuli chubur joyinte, yehi ingli torula, ngonsan ripi hyantalo, nyanmon kompe chopambal, rikwa tsepe ngonde hyok, chunye se la jeyaro, poshan loni chunkokor, jalu chembo yusurende, geso yana panka hos, dedication. That you studied 7 branches offerings there. You easily to study. Look, wow, this is the extraordinary, the world of the Dzogchen Chambers. But generally, like a kind of shadolishing the need, number terrible chancel, Ushan Yetrenchu, things no soon to be your jump, Gossam Giling, Worcester Chukung on the Baninji Dupai, Gesokon La Jay, Drishikon, Sambush, Tesson Chunko, young men that used to some self gets and the Hyonchi chamber, Joro Hose. in the Hundu preliminary practice, and that is like kind of the prestations. And then is the Guru Yoga. Guru Yoga is such a kind of the really is this is the great fast quickly realization is like a really great transformative of the realization from your palest teachers and true into your minds. And like this, of course, like according there is like kind of the and refugees and the Guru Yogas is a classification comes from the faith, it's a kind of the faith, the like kind of the vivid faith, desire, eager faith, in the irreversible faith. There's three. When we have the irreversible faith to your own peerless teachers, and to recite the Guru Yogas, and through this visualization, through this practice, there are such formative, powerful, transformatives. The peerless teachers' realization is like direct transform into our teachers, students' minds, and therefore, says, the wisdom of the realizations, forcefully, means is like transform into the student's mind. Before you practice the actual meditations, and maybe you don't need in like finish at your this second the extraordinary preliminary practice, and after the Guru Yogas you don't need to move further. Maybe you have become the omniscient, you understand everything like this therefore we call the list until you perfectly completely the main practice. Of course, afterwards, then you can do good things. Your Guru Yoga is finished. And then afterwards, what you need to do? Really, you can't follow up the costly way. You don't thinking about maybe be learned, famous or Buddhist teacher or something. You serious to focus on practice. You won't be like kind of enlightenment for the benefit. After you need to really to enter into the profound Mantrayana teachings. You need to first is like the maturation aspect, the maturation of empowerment. Like there's like really is the higher empowerment we call the peaceful, wrathful. And then after you this received, then you need to study. There's like I think Haryangafa, no, it's like the there's one authentic Jijjal someone Himbos. I don't know this name is Gurhyangaba, yes. Gurhyangaba is more connected to the Mahayogas. Mahayoga based is like in the foundation teaching of the inner secret tantras. Like based that, then you can to view of the more high Anna and the others. It's like Mahayogas more elaborated about the creation stage, dissolution stage. Emphasize is like kind of the creation stage. And then is the Anna Yoga emphasize dissolution. And then it's like the Atha Yoga is the unification of the both. Maybe very, very like unliberated, liberated also like. And this then you can go to yesterday we talking about the like kind of alpha purity and like a cutting through or like alpha purities and or the purity, primordial purity, spontaneous presence, someone's, and of course there you have, and like a toggle, teacher toggle, and like this. This is actually Really, you completed practice. The benefit of the each three practice are the explained in the relevant chapters. This is kind of the benefit of the each of this, each of, and each of there is, and then is how it is the benefit for the liberations. And also it's like each this like kind of beginning from the taking refuge and the complete the finish at end. There's each practice, there's explain. And here is that there's cannot to talk everything. The relevant chapters in each individual. For example, when you need information about the human existence, it's a relevant of the explanation of the human existence. This chapter, like this, each correct the chapter you need to perceive to go to studies. Then this whether your attainment is that of the Shavaka and the Pachika Buddha or perfect Buddhas and perfect Buddhahood, and is any kind of this achievement result. And Shavaka Pachika Buddha is already we studied, and achievement of the Arhat. Bodhisattva is a perfect Buddhahood, is like perfect Arhat, not kind of the like residues, and residues, yes, residual, a residual mouth is like the residual, maybe missing lunch, residual. There's one guy. I often told to you refuge, you never remember. Okay, I remember now residues. And like this. Okay, residues, not residues are hard. Pure are hard. Complete are hard. Perfect are hard. And that one is the result peaceful, because there's no disturbing emotions. Peaceful, cooling. Disturbing emotion is like a fire. It's burning our heart. And enlightenment, there's no disturbing emotion of the fire. And then there is nothing kind of the hot desert burning of the samsara. No anymore. Therefore, the cooling and the free from the dangerous pathway of the samsara sufferings. What joy that is. You need to tell into. What a joy that is for me now. These opportunities, great, marvelous. It's extraordinary. Then it's the sins out of all these various paths. It is the Mahayana that you have now taken up. You take them up. These are the Mahayanas. And Mahayana is the Mahayana's path. Okay? And you basically, how it is like kind of, they like a beginning. Of course, they basically, the entrance, like a point. It is like a absolutely bodhicitta. And also bodhicitta, through the bodhicitta, you abandon the basic harming of the any sentient beings. And you are like kind of applier, adopted to basic helping, beneficial for the other sentient beings. And there's a kind of the purified any impairments, any impairment. Do you know? What does it mean? Impairment. How do you say Pali? P-R-P-A-I-N R-M Okay, E-N-T, you can to say S, you know, like the impairments. It's many kind of activities. That. Then it's like, now you taken that, and then it's like, you should to study the view, how it is the Mahayana's view. Of course, you have your own book. You look in the Mahayana's the view. Yesterday you studied. It's second is views. Second, yatawa tenlam betterness. Tawa is very, very important. Tawa. Do you have page maybe 23? Page 23? Page 23? Yes? Page Mahayana, page 23. There's in Tibet, it's like the beginning, there's the views in English. In Tibet, why you see the basically how you establish the view. And any kind of path, so view is the most important. And before we can to establish this, normally it's the tea timers. Okay. How many? 20 minutes we can to stop.